Hello, this is going to be some tips and advice for new players of CatDog World that are starting on a new server. So the server that I joined opened yesterday, and you can see on Monday there's something called Strongest Chief. With Strongest Chief, you want to save certain resources to use on Strongest Chief and do very well. Even though it's tempting to use them in some of the other events, that's generally going to be the best one to use them for. One of the materials you're going to want to save for Strongest Chief is hero shards. So if you'll notice, I have not recruited this little lizard guy or this dog because I don't need them for my arena team. I have my 5 heroes for my arena team, which is my 2 warriors, so Ethan and the little froggy guy. And then I've got Orpheus and this other cat and Yuri. So I'm not even going to use my other shards until Strongest Chief. So I'm not planning on using any of my shards for the other characters other than these 5. I probably will keep using them for these 5 because I want to make sure I have a really strong arena team and get some good arena points and rankings there. But I will not at all use them for heroes I'm not using. And so that is rare shards, epic shards, and legendary shards you get points for in Strongest Chief. The next thing I'm going to be saving is speed ups. So I know it's really tempting when you start on a new server, you kind of want to just blast through and level really fast. But other than trying to get the 4 million for this rising path, which is pretty simple to do in the time given if you're playing, you want to save your other things for the Strongest Chief. Most of the other resources that you would want to save for Strongest Chief are things that you're not going to have right away. A few things that you can use without worrying about saving them is these manuals. So I know in some games they have you save the manuals and you get points for using them at a certain point. The other thing is the Legendary Hall, where you can use advanced and epic recruitment. So far, we haven't been super incentivized to hold on to those. There has been one event where you had a daily quest to do epic recruitment, but as a whole, normally you just use those as you get them. One other thing I do to prepare for Strongest Chief is in my research tab. Under the development tab, I'm going to research all of the construction tasks, the research speed up tasks, obviously strategy development for sure. That gets you an extra March queue. That's huge. So if you notice in the center, all of my skills in the center have been maxed, but the ones on the top and the bottom, I have not leveled up at all. When you get to Strongest Chief, doing these quick little researches that are 18 seconds, which, finish instantly with your alliance help, gets you insane points for Strongest Chief. It's actually a lot easier for small players to do very well in Strongest Chief because of that. Once you get to be higher level, it takes a week to get a research done. So unless you have a bunch of speed ups, you're not getting a ton of points. But you can really rack up the points as a low player getting a bunch of these little tiny researches done. So along those lines, in the combat tree, I did not do any more than 1 skill across the board. So all of these are opened up. So when Strongest Chief comes, I can just make sure I pick the really short time ones. And all of these, like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, they're all going to be instantly completed in with my Alliance Honor stuff. So the big thing you want to make sure is save your resources. Make sure you have a good resource collection going. Maybe you're using a farm account, or you're just using the resource nodes. Just have resources ready to go so that you can blast through this research. In order to make sure you can do a lot of research, you have to be on top of collecting from your defense outpost to get the medal. So that is one thing that you most likely will run out of before other materials if you're blasting through research initially. Ironically, later in the game, I have so much metal, I can't even begin to know what to do with it all. So other important things, you've got 6 days it looks like to do Rising Path. You just need to get to 4 million power to make sure you unlock everything. Very doable, even completely free to play. You also have Bella's tasks. So those are going to unlock a little bit as you go along. The big thing is leveling up your shelter, because at some point you also need to have certain tier of troops unlocked and certain level for your research building. So if you just make sure you focus on powering up your fountain as quickly as possible, you'll easily be able to get all of your Bella things done. If you notice up top here, some of the rewards require VIP. So this requires VIP 3, that requires VIP 4. It also needs to be activated. So when you go into this VIP section, if you look down here, there's a button to activate VIP. When you level up your VIP, so I went from 1 to 2 with Alliance VIP points. When you level up your VIP, automatically you get 24 hours of active VIP time. I buy VIP in the Alliance store. So if you see here, this 40% off sold out, and then this one also 40% sold out. That's where I mostly buy my VIP. I used to buy all VIP even if it wasn't discounted. I'm not sure if that is the best move, but I absolutely would buy any 40 or 70% off VIP, because VIP is really, really good to have. You want to try to get to VIP level 6 to unlock an additional March queue. I really, really like having as many March queues as possible. So you're working on getting your fountain up, you're working on doing this rising path, you're going to be getting your Bella tasks done. The big thing is to make sure you get into Alliance. That's going to help spam click helps to get your builds done as quickly as possible. So like if you notice, I have 10 out of 17 helps on that building already. My fountain is up to 17 out of 17. Obviously that one's been going on longer. And those helps really do take some significant time off. The last thing I want to mention for getting a nice strong start off on a new character and preparing yourself to really crush it on the first strongest chief, the first day is construction and research. So you want to, as much as possible, try to make sure you finish a big research and a big build on that day. So obviously the biggest build you could finish would be a fountain, and next after that would be an embassy. And at this point you probably don't have researches that are going to take a really long time to do, but if you do the strategy that I showed you of just kind of like trying to get through the tree as quickly as possible with ones across the board, you can go through and see, if you have one that's even going to take an hour or 3 hours, just try to time whatever your longest research is to land when the new day starts. And then once the new day starts, you're going to go to town with these little tiny 3-minute, 4-minute researches and just do a ton of them. I also didn't really level up any of my cabins, so same kind of general concept. They take a lot of resources here before you even upgrade them, and so they only all take a couple of minutes, and so those I will power up during Strongest Chief as well. You pretty much just do them if you need to do them for your fountain, which I think is only early on and not later on. If you have any questions, let me know, and enjoy your new server, and I hope you really enjoy the game.